What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, trying to find this spot. See where this place is at. We're gonna be doing a little something nice.
In 1,000 feet, turn left.
See? Why you interrupting me? You're so rude. Navigation. You guys hear the navigation going? But I'm trying to find this thing. I'm trying to find this place. I'm trying to find Retrosound is the name of the company. They're actually out here in Nevada, and they don't normally do
turn left,
like retail pickups or anything like that for customers or anything like that. So we really got lucky. Big shout out to them. They're letting me come by.
In a quarter of a mile, your destination will be on the right.
You heard that? They're letting me come by their product when they shouldn't have, because they only go through oh look, there's a speed shop. They only go through vendors, so you would have to go through a vendor for this, but they're letting us come pick it up in will call. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit, and I'll show you guys what we picked up. I think it's over here somewhere. They said to go around back for will call. Not sure where will call's at. All right, they said north side of the door. This is the only other door here, and this looks like the north side. It's will call. Ring this bell. We are back at the house. We got the package from Retrosound. I'll show you guys what's in it here in a sec. Oh yeah, that's our swag. We gotta ship some of that stuff out today too. We gotta get some stuff shipped out today. Guys, if you guys have not checked out the swag, make sure to hit up the Instagram. A lot of it's on there too. If you guys are interested, let me know. All right, we are back. Let's see what we got up in here, huh? Some goodies. Let's see. So what we did, we got, I want to say it's called, which one is this? I want to say this is the Hermosa. They got like a Long Beach, Hermosa. They're all like Cali-based names or something. But yeah, the Hermosa, see? Then we got the Hermosa, which has the Bluetooth. We got the one, that one has the Bluetooth. And then we also got these extra thin speakers from them as well. I had one set already, but it was for the Frankenstein. I don't know if we're going to run. We might have to run both of these speakers in there. Because I was just going to actually take. Oh, this is an antenna, guys. This is actually an antenna. I'm going to end up probably using this, though, on the Frankenstein, because I don't have the original antenna for the Frankenstein. And then we'll try to reuse the factory antenna off of that thing right there. But the speakers, I wanted to do 6x9s on this car, but the convertible is such a pain in the butt that it's not going to let us, because of there's no really back deck lid or anything like that. So we might have to run 4 of these. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to steal the ones off the junk. That's funny. I have to steal the ones off of, Frankenstein. So, let's see what these look like here. They call these their deluxe. Deluxe. Can't do it with one hand, y'all. Looks like 75 watts, 4-ohm speakers. So they are super thin, man. Damn, that is super thin. So what do you guys think? Retrosound, very good quality, but pet peeve of mine. Yeah, I said buts. They really, it's like a freaking Rubik's Cube to put these things together, man. They're such a pain in the butt to put together. Like, this is the unit, right? This is your main unit. And you can see you don't even have a face or nothing. Everything is like, comes separate. The ears, all of that. You have to put this together all in pieces. That's the only pet peeve of mine, is how they make them. Basically, you have to assemble the entire radio unit before you can even install it. So let me try to assemble this thing somewhat before we can start getting into that dash. Alright, so now that we got the radio kind of assembled, you're saying, we are gonna have to take that guy out. We gotta see if we can take this guy out, because, or at least move it out of the way, because we gotta be able to work on this radio. Take this old stereo out, but this has got to go first. Looks like it's just got two brackets, one here. So, and back there, I should say. We'll try to swing this thing around, just so we don't have to disconnect anything, because I don't want to mess with this right now. And then we can pull that one off, and then we have to wire these in. These are the new ones for the new stereo. You got power, you got ground, you got auxiliary power, and you got also radio antenna, or I should say remote, for like an amp or something like that. Left, right, speakers front and back. So you only have 4 outputs there. So we're gonna probably run wire for all 4 and see what we end up using. But let's go ahead and start with taking this thing out real quick, or at least moving it out of the way. Jesus Christ. Golly. Damn, Gina. That's crazy. That's big. Golly. Guys, this thing is a monster. That is so crazy. Like, I want to show you comparison. Look at this. Also, I mean, look at that. I mean, even with the ears out, like, that is freaking nuts, dude. Holy crap. That is freaking crazy. And not to mention, this thing weighs nothing. This is like a brick. That is literally a brick. That is so crazy. Man, that's crazy. Now, what's one thing is weird is that, well, a few things. What I found. The hell? Get that nut out of there. Pulling this out, there should only be the 2 nuts right here, correct? And then the back connector and all that, antenna. But I found this crap. This is I was wondering where the speakers were at. This is what they had threw it in there. Somebody did this a while back. And the worst part about it is, and now I know why they sound like shit, for one. Look at this. FORD. That's the problem right there. These are Ford freaking speakers. That shit is nuts. So they had these 2 freaking chingaderas in there sounding like doo-doo. It's crazy. They're little Ford speakers. I don't know where the hell they came from. Whoever had this car at one point maybe just wanted some sound or something, and they put this crap in there. They just were jammed up in there. God, that's why it sounded like shit. Good thing we took those out, and we'll put these ones in. But what's weird about this, you always want to leave these kind of loose so you can adjust them back and forth, you know, because of these. And I've noticed that this side, every time, it's weird how they made these. Look at the platform here and the platform here. This side is going to sit further back in than this side. It's weird. So you're going to have to kind of take that in consideration and adjust these in and out. That's what all these nuts and lock nuts are for. So you kind of adjust them wherever you're going to need them. and just adjust them accordingly. So I'm gonna back this one back out again, and then I'd move it forward and so on with the other one. What I want to do is, while we're here, I kind of want to fix this cigarette lighter. The thing looks like it melted down. I don't know what the hell they did. So I'm probably going to see if I might have a USB plug here that I can throw in here. I might do that real quick. Just a little test light, ground it, and then you can turn the key on and off, and then you apply your light to the one you think it's going to be, and you turn the key. If it's key on, obviously your light will get a light. If it's constant power, you always have power. So that's a good way to test too. That's why I also tested the cigarette lighter to see what was going on, and there was no power there on the orange wire. That's the cigarette lighter. So it's going to be this guy here. So we'll get a new fuse for that. But I'll get everything wired in first. Whoops. Let me finish wire everything up. This is just going to be the speaker. So what I'm going to end up doing is running extra wire for left and right for the kick panels, and then also some for the back. Hopefully we can get something done there. And then these guys, I might as well run this guy too. We'll run, like I said, this guy will be yellow to yellow, black to black, and then we'll find red for constant power. And then these two we're not going to end up using for now. But let's get this going. Let me see if I get that cigarette lighter too. Not bad, huh? Looks pretty good. Now, they do, you see how I use the washer in there? Make sure you guys use washers, because the original nut on these were like a lot bigger, so the hole's slightly bigger. And they also include these guys too in the kit, just in case your plastic is like really beat up. You can put this on the back side, just in case a lot of these guys' dashes are cracked and they're old brittle. I mean, these are 50-year-old cars, so they really thought of everything. So, or you can even want to relocate the radio to some other spot, and you want to kind of keep this original look. But they include those. I'm not going to use them. Make sure you put the washer with the nuts on, and then when you're tightening this thing up, these nuts, you saw I just used the socket. Didn't even put a wrench on it. Just hand tighten them tight as you can with the socket, because you don't want that thing to crack. And we still have to put our grounding strap in the back side of this thing. But I'm going to kind of get everything tucked away first, or get everything out of the way before we put the grounding strap on. Put these knobs on real quick, and then we'll go to the back side. And once I get the grounding strap done, I'll kind of show you guys what I did. Maybe you guys have something better ideas or all that. Maybe somebody's done it a different way. Maybe you guys don't even run the ground strap. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you, your preference. But that's my setup. I like to leave these out a little bit as much as I can, let them stick out, because I've done them before and they're super tight, and then sometimes these things will hit like in here. So I like to stick these knobs out as far as possible so you can access them very easy and smoothly. All right, almost done guys. Hang in there. All right, I'm gonna try my best to show you guys this, but I'm underneath the car. Can you guys see it? So you can kind of bend it however you need to. I gotta bend it here, 90 there, back here, and you should have this little tab underneath your dash. And I just came to that, and I just used one of the bolt and nuts that was supplied in the hardware kit to hold that on. Tighten it up. It's really for like so this thing doesn't rattle around and all that. It's a good way to support it besides the nuts in the front of this thing. So, because from the factory, that's all it had. And then it makes it for a good ground, so that way you don't have no interference coming through the radio. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the actual dash goes. That's pretty much it. We're going to clean some of this stuff up, and then we'll move on to the kick panels. What is up, you guys? It is the next day. We had to clean up. We had to get going. We had things to do, and it got kind of warm. We lost the shade, so we are back to put these kick panels on. So I got those ready. We got to get the old ones off first. Let's just get to it, right? Took a lot longer than expected, but of course we picked the hardest side to start with, and I guess I'm kind of glad we did, because now I get to tell you kind of what not to do, huh? Yeah, you can see this thing is pretty OG. It's never been taken out. It's fought us a little bit, but so remember, these cars like this, non-AC cars, you got to take that grill off, and then you got to get all this actual freaking screws that hold all those on. And it's a nightmare because they designed this thing with everything off, like this e-brake. There's no way around it. You're going to have to remove the e-brake to get to those screws. And even then it's suspect because that fuse panel is in the way. So that was a nightmare trying to get the screwdriver up there. So that's going to be fun for you guys. And then you just kind of have to disconnect. Where'd it go? You're going to have to disconnect the wires like these. You got the one here at the flap there, at the cowl. And you got the one up top that operates the top vent. So you're just going to need a set of needle nose pliers to disconnect this one. But yeah. So what we'll do is we'll clean this up a little bit. Run our wire back there, and then put the new panel in, and then I guess get this thing hooked up, and then the other side should be easier because look, nothing in the way. So just disconnecting the actual louvers. That's about it. All right, let's get going. Just wanted to mention that when you take the old factory kick panel out, you have the ability to close and open that vent. So without it, the new kick panel does not have that ability. So what I ended up doing was taking a piece of kill mat. It's a sound deadening mat that'll keep the heat out and sound out. So that way we don't have any hot air coming in from the engine compartment, and also the sound keeping the road noise out of the cab. All right, so we are gonna move on to the backs. It's gonna be a little tricky. Now we're gonna end up going with this little guy here, the 6.5. We're gonna end up going with that guy. We're gonna try to jam it in that area right there. So hopefully we can get it there. I thought about doing it here, but if we do it here, it's just, I don't think that's gonna work. The glass is there, too much going on there. I looked in here, we got a lot more room here, and then how shallow the speaker is, so we might be able to pull that off. I wanted the 6x9, but that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna start off by taking off this panel and then going from there, see what we can do. I think I like it there. I set up my little horse here, little workhorse, and we want to make sure this speaker has enough clearance from up here. You have this little flap that comes down right here where the actual cover sits there, so you don't want to go too high and we don't want to go too far to the edge. So we're going to go right up to barely to the edge, and then what I'm going to do is I want to make an outline here. So we have our template, use the ring. So now we got our template, but the problem is I don't have a hole saw that big. I do have a pretty big hole saw. I'll use the biggest one I got and then start it there, and then I'll probably come in with a reciprocating saw and then kind of clean up the rest. We'll see. I think this is metal though. It's either metal or hard backing. That looks like metal actually, so we'll see what we can use. Let's get started with the hole saw. Time to put these back in now. Just remember, I don't think I explained it when we first started. You got to separate these two obviously to work on the top part of the panel. You're gonna have one screw here, and then you have two on the inside right here in this crease, but they'll be on the inside. You just undo those, and there's 3 screws. That's it. And yeah, you're like, what the hell happened? Yeah, I had to take the seats out because there's a screw, I guess, that went here, but on that side, and that one had it. This one didn't have it. This doesn't have it, I should say, because look, there's nowhere that screw was, no indications. But that one, for some reason, it could be just something from the assembly line that they put it on, and you know, they just did that one. The guy was lazy that day and didn't do this side. I don't know, it's weird. But this one came out no problem. That's why we didn't have to take the seat out. But that side, I had to pull the seat out. There was no way around it. If you guys need these old cars, there's really nothing to it, pulling the seats out besides 2 bolts down there, and that's it. And then they come off with these hooks. You pop them off. So there's nothing. It wasn't that hard, but it was a pain in the butt because I didn't know what was holding it on. But we're gonna put this on. Another thing to remember is that I mean, look at, there's not a lot of room in here. You see, so that's why we had to go with the shallower speaker and the smaller one, because this mechanism here, with being a convertible, you have the hydraulic motor that pushes it up and down the actuator, so you don't have a lot of room. And not to mention too, I had to come move this speaker twice because I had these down here, and they were, or I should say, clocked to about 6 o'clock, and they were hitting down here. So once we relocated the speaker, moved it, and that way they're that way to the inside, and we can cook them up and have no issues. So we just ran our wire here. This is the same wire that came with the kit. So like I said, we're not running nothing, some crazy sound system, so this wire will do just fine. But we'll put this back in, and then we'll do that side too, and then we'll crank this thing on and see what it sounds like. What you doing, Gina?
And that's why you moved it.
All right, so speakers are back in, or I should say door panels are back in. We got them both in. We're not gonna put the seat back in yet, because actually I'm probably gonna end up replacing that motor back there for the top while we got it off. But for the purpose of this video, let's test out these speakers. Huh? Look, they came out real good, real nice. Only problem with, I should say, that I have is that e-brake. You see how tight that e-brake is now? Like, you can't even set that e-brake anymore. I don't know why they made these pods so wide. You actually could have made it a little bit smaller and they would have fit just fine. I can probably put a shim up there, but I need a longer bolt to bring that pedal out a little bit, and that might work. But it's an automatic, so we shouldn't have any issues. We're not really going to use it, so we're not going to be parking on some crazy hills or anything like that. But let's play this thing. It's got Bluetooth, all that. You can also adjust your equalizer, mids, highs, bass, all that. And obviously it's got in the back, we're not running an amp or anything, but it does have the hookup for the amp. But let's see what this thing sounds like, huh? Sounds pretty good. My singing skills and my lip singing skills ain't all that, but sounds good. I like it. I'm super happy with this. Definitely upgraded for the convertible. We needed that, and this is another big one too. Having that lighter there / USB now. Look, cleaned it up too. Got rid of that nasty hole that was there. But I like it, y'all. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully this information helps you guys out. Hit the subscribe button though. Hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications, and keep wrenching.
What you wanna do when the sun goes